Hello everyone. In this we will talk about the radicals or you can say nth root of a number. So what it means like suppose you have say b power n is equal to a. So if you see it we can say that like if you want to find the value of b what it will be a power 1 over n. So when we say it we say that b is an nth root of a. Okay. So the nth root, like instead of writing it in the terms of rational exponent, we can write it as nth root of a. So this expression, when we express it in this form, we call this as radicals, where n, which is basically this term, is called the index. Okay, a is called the radicand, and this root sign is called the radical. Okay, so it's like expressing it in the form of root. We call it as radical. So, like we have seen earlier in the other videos, like you generally write x power half. So it's same as writing root of x. When it is 1 by 2, we simply write root. If it is x power 1 over 3, so if it is other than 2, we write that number over here, this radical sign. And since it's the cube root, we write the number 3 here. Okay. Similarly, if it is like a to the power 1 over 5, how we will write? Yes, fifth root of a. This is how it works. Okay. So other working principle will be same. Like suppose if I give you an example, say what is the value of say let's take example as root of 4. So root means power half, correct? So 4, you know that 4, you can write it as 2 power 2, correct? Because it's half, we want to cancel. So this 2. So this gives you 2 because you can easily cancel this 2 bit. Okay, clear? Similarly, like if I give you example, say cube root of say 125. So converting this radical into exponent, what you can write 125 to the power 1 over 3. Now since we want to cancel this 3, we look for 125, how we can write it as power 3 of any number. So yes, we can write it as 5 power 3, this whole power 1 over 3. That gives you 5. So this is how you work with the numbers. Even if you have the negative sign, suppose you have the third example, minus root of 81. It doesn't matter the negative sign. Keep the negative sign out. So it is 81 to the power half. Now, you know that 81, you can write it as 9 power 2. Okay? Other things don't change. Minus sign there, power half. So this half and half cancel. Then you have minus 9. This will be your answer. Clear? Now, what happen if you have the negative sign inside? Like suppose you have, say, fifth root of minus 32. So, first of all, writing it in the form of rational expression, minus 32 to the power 1 over 5. Now here, you have to check minus 32, how you can write as the fifth power. So, focus on the number first. 32. You know that 32 is 2 power 5. Now you need negative. So you know that minus 1 to the power 5 gives you minus 1. So knowing these two things, what you can do, 32. You can write 32 minus 32 as minus 1 to the power 32. Correct? Now in place of minus 1, what you can write? Minus 1 to the power 5. In place of 32, you can write 2 power 5. Using this value, in place of minus 32. What you will get? Minus 1 to the power 5 times 2 power 5 whole 1 over 5. Now using the rule of exponents, this is minus 1, 5, 1 over 5, 2 power 5, 1 over 5. Okay, cancelling these powers, you will get here minus 1 to the power 1 and 2 power 1, which gives you minus 2. So you have the value of fifth root of minus 32 as minus 2. So this is how you work. Now you are dealing only with the numbers here. Okay. Now what happens if you have variables inside? So for that you need to remember that if you are taking nth root of say x power n, you will write it as x if n is odd number. Like n takes a value 1, 3, 5 and so on. On the other hand, you write it as mod of s, absolute value of x, if n is even. That is, n takes the value 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on. So for instance, suppose you have your question like, let me see, question number 5. Root of x square. So what is the power? Power is 2, which is even. So you will write absolute value of x. Similarly, if you have sixth root of a power 6, so the index is 6, which is even. So you will write mod of a. Okay. Even if you have, say, sixth power of, or let's say, not sixth power, say square root of a power 6. So what it means? A power 6 power half. Okay. So you have to cancel. So what you will get? You can write it as a power 3, its power 2 and half. Okay. So keeping it in the index form like radical form, it will be a3 power 2. Okay. So what is the power here? Power is 2, even power. So it belongs to this. So your answer should be mod of e power 3 or the absolute value. We call it as absolute value. Absolute value of e power 3. So you may see this absolute value as a quotient as well, like not absolute value, the radicals as a quotient. Like suppose you have root of 64 over 1 to 1. So it's same as 64 over 1 to 1. It's all power half. So 64, how you can write 64? 8 power 2. 121, 11 power 2. And its whole power half. So this gives you 8 power 2 power half, 11 power 2 power half. Cancelling the power, you left with 8 over 11. Since here no variable involved, so you don't need to put the absolute sign. You just put the numbers. Okay. Whereas if you look at, say, fourth root of 16 x power 8. Okay, so you can write it as like how you can write 16. Think of 16. 16 is which number power 4? 2 power 4, correct. So we can write it as 2 power 4. And what about x power 8? Which number power 4 is x power 8? Yes, it is x square and its power. So 2 power 4, x square power 4. Okay, this whole in the fourth root. Or if you feel it's easier for you to write it in the rational exponents, it's fine. So you can write it as fourth root of 2x squared and its power 4. Now cancelling, since the index is even, so what it should be? It should be mod of 2x squared. Now 2 is a positive number, so you can write it as 2 outside the absolute value, 2x squared. Okay, this is how you work. Okay, now suppose you have root of 27. How you are going to simplify? So root 27 means 27 power half. Now we know that we cannot write 27 as any number power 2 other than root. But we know that 27 we can write it as 3 multiply 3 multiply 3. Correct? 3 power 3. So we can split it as 3 power 2 times 3. So here we will be using this expression for 27. So this gives you 3 power 2 times 3 and its whole power half. Now using the law of exponents, distributing this power half to both the terms, we get 3 power 2 and its power half times 3 power half. So what we can see in the first term, this power cancel, we left with only 3, whereas here 3 power half remains same. So you can write it as 3 root 3, converting it into radical expression. So we get root of 27 is equal to 3 root 3. So sometimes we have to work like this as well, depending upon the question. So let's take this example. Cube root of 81, P7, Q8. Okay, cube root means it's all 81, P7, Q8. It's all power 1 over 3. So we see that here 7 and 8, they are not divisible by 3. Okay, so we will see how to work with them. First, look at 81. So how we can write 81? 81 is 9 times 9, correct? 9 is 3 times 3 and again the 9 3 times 3. Now we need 3 power 1 over 3. So it means we collect these 3's together. So we can write 81 as 3 power 3 times 3. Okay, this is for 81. Clear? Now, moving to p power 7. P power 7. How we can write? Can I write it as p power 6 times p? Or if you wanted more easier one, like if you don't want to put it in this, p power 7 means multiplying p 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Correct? Now what we are doing? We are making group of 3. 3 p's and 3 p's. So we can write it as, yes, p power 3 times p power 3 times p. This is for p power 7. Similarly, what you can write for q power 8, if you work in the same way, you can write q power 3, q power 3, 3 and 3, 6, and q power 2. Okay, now using this here in your question, what you will get. In place of 81, we write 3 power 3 times 3. In place of p, we will write p power 3, p power 3, and p. All are in multiplication. In place of q power 8, we can write q power 3, q power 3, q power 2. This whole to the power 1 over 3. Now distribute this power with each term. with each term of Q and P here also with 3. What it gives you? 3 power 3 is over 1 over 3. 3 1 over 3. P 3 over 3 means 3 1 over 3. P3 1 over 3. P 1 over 3. If you write here directly 3 over 3. Q 3 over 3. Q 2 over 3. So what you see that this cancels. This power cancels. Okay. Also this 10. This will cancel. This will cancel. Means the powers become 1. So you have left with 3. 3 power 1 over 3. P, P, P power 1 over 3. And then Q, Q, Q power 2 over 3. Now collecting the terms without any n through third root. So what we get? 3 p square q square. Okay. What we left with? 3 p q square. Its whole power. Okay. So this is the simplest form. So you can write it as 3 p square q square cube root of 3pq square. Okay. If see working like this, if you feel that this is more work, you can work it in an easier way. Okay, like p7 over 3. So you can write it as p power 7 over 3. So you can write it as p6 into p, its whole 1 over 3. So it will give you directly p square, this is, and cube root of p. Same for q8 over 3. You can write it as q6 times q2 and whole 1 over 3. Okay. So it's okay. Anyways is okay, whichever you feel easier. So let's quickly solve these two questions since it's root. So it means power half 28 p7 over q power 2. It's all power half. So you can write it as 28 power half p power 7 over 2 and q 2 over 2. 28. If you look at 28, you need to check the factors. 28, you can write it as 7 times 4, which is 7 times 2 power 2. Okay. So when you work with 28 power half, same as 7 times 2 power 2 power half, which gives you the power of 2 get cancelled, you get power half for 7. So you can write 2 root 7. Okay, so it will be 2 root 7 for 28. Okay, for q, 2 and 2 cancel, so you have q left. Now 7 over 2 with p. So you have p 7 over 2. This you can write it as p 6 into p. When 7 over 2, you can write it as, how you can write? So as we did in the previous question, you can write it as p7, you can write p6 into p, this whole 1 over 2. So this gives you p3, p half. So it is p root p. So when you combine, you get the final answer as 2p over q root of 7p. Okay, so it is important for you to know these things, how to simplify. So p7 over 2, you can simplify in the same way how we did for 7 over 3. Okay, means you can even work like this. Similarly, if you do this question, 24, so it means 24, its power 1 over 3, x 8 over 3, y 4 over 3. Down. 81 1 over 3, x 2 over 3, y 1 over 3. So, see, as I said, you can do it like this, or what else you can do is you see x in numerator and denominator, also y in numerator and denominator. So, why not let's simplify this and then work on it? I think that will be much easier. So, it will be cube root of 24 over 81. Can we simplify 24 over 81 as well? We can simplify 24 over 81 like this. And 8, since we know we need cube root, 8 we can write 2 power 3 and 27 as 3 power 3. Okay. So let's write 2 power 3 over 3 power 3. Okay. Uh, x power 8. X power 8, since you need a multiple of 3, you can write it as x power 6, x power 2. Sorry, I forget. What we were doing is we were merging the term. So this gives you x power 8 minus 2 when you work only with these two terms. Okay. And for y, you get y power 4 minus 1. So this gives you cube root of 2 power 3, 3 power 3, x power 6, y power 3. Now take the cube root. So it is 2 power 3, 3 power 3, whole to the power 1 by 3, x power 6, 1 over 3, y power 3, 1 over 3. So simplifying this 3 cancels, this cancels, this cancels to 2. So your final answer will be 2 x squared y 3. Okay, so this is how you're going to work.